Yeah, I was talking with a friend earlier because I stayed the night at his place, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna listen. He wanted to do a podcast, and I was actually the guy. I was on Mandeep. I think I had did my first video talking about him, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna release that video. It might be too much, might be too insane, and it's not even like it's literally like retarded, brain dead, talking because it was so late at night, and we had to set everything up and all this other shit. It was like 11 o'clock at night. We got to go to sleep at 12 to get up at 6, right? So everybody's fucking losing their minds. But yeah, sorry for that rant. So I was thinking about this because I spent most of my day with him just talking, right? Like, I had to go pick up my mom, and my sister dropped her off, and then I was supposed to pick her up at whatever time, right? So I am just basically wasting the day away, right? So him and I are talking at the place where he works, because it's like a family-owned business. So I mean, like, they don't give a shit. Like, I'm behind the counter just talking, cracking jokes with employees and all the customers and stuff. And it's funny how similar every single young person's life is. See, maybe that's one thing that I'm wrong about, right? Or one of the many things I'm wrong about, right? Is that I had assumed that, there's like, I don't want to say a tier or a caste system, because that's not really right. It's more so like people who, have like a higher cognition kind of thing, because I talked about like normies and schizos. But it's funny that, if you try to talk to like old people, right, like older people are either the nicest person you've seen or they're just a fucking dickhead, right? But young people are in this sort of weird trance where like we can just kind of see it on our faces, right? Because even I got done even yesterday at church service. Like, so believe it or not, yes, I'm wearing the same shirt as yesterday. That's all I fucking had. Yeah, so I got done with church service yesterday, and I pull up to the drive-thru with my grandma, right? And the guy, and I'm like, hey, listen, thank you. I appreciate you being so patient with me, because we don't know what we want, right? Like, we rarely come here and all this other stuff. And, he's got a smile on his face. Like, he's understanding, right? And you can also tell that he's like, there's sort of a longing for something else in his life. You can just see it in people's faces, right? And then, today I'm talking with Amandeep at the gas station and talking to, I don't know if it's his cousin or what, but we're just bullshitting, and it's like, yeah, like we're all sort of in this weird stage of like, learning more about ourselves, because I think that's probably our best thing as a generation. Our best thing that we have going for ourselves is self-reflection, because that's really all we have, right? We really can't own much, right? We can't just destroy a car and then buy another one, or like we can't exactly go to a concert every weekend, right? So we're sort of forced to understand to be by ourselves, right? And that works in our favor, because now we can kind of draw from what's in our mind and be like, okay, this is how to behave. This is what not to do. Making friends is the best thing you can do, and blah, 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 blah. And like really kind of dwelling on it. And I don't mean dwelling as in like a bad thing, but it lets us understand ourselves better, because like I said, you try to talk to an old person, they either understand you because of experience and being wronged in life and mistreatment, or they're just like, yep, I gotta pay my insurance, and I gotta, do my taxes, and it's just like lame, boring shit. Where is the authenticity? Where is it? Because you've spent 50 years of your life, and this is the best we can do. Are you fucking for real, right? And like I said, people wear their emotions on their face, because you can just tell when somebody is just like retarded, like, and I don't mean that in the sense of like stupid. I mean that in the sense of like they literally have no concept of greater values. But yet just about every young person I've talked to, like, you can open them up, right? You just can't, like, and myself included, the fact that I'm trying or attempting to be so open with you, and granted, it's not face to face, but I would try my hardest face to face to be open with you. So, it's really funny that seems to be our greatest trick in our hand. Our greatest card that we can play is that we really are all, most of us are living the same life, because, my mom tells me that this person that she was talking to was like, dude, literally sounded exactly like me. They fuck up their thing, right? And then they're like, God damn it. And then they're like starting all over again. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. I literally just said this like last week, where like you start self-critiquing and then you just fuck yourself up. Like there was a thing that it turns out, or a thing that I read, that it turns out that most people our age or my age are actually much more equipped than previous generations to do the tasks that we are given. The problem is we're so goddamn self-critical that we fuck ourselves every time. Every time. So it's so insane to me that we might all be living the same fucking life. So why don't we band together as a team and talk about it then? Seriously, like if we're all much more similar than we thought we were, and yes, we might have differences in political whatever, but it's the fact that like, we care much more about each other than we thought we did, or we think we do. It's surprising, really, because if you ask an old person, like, why are you a Democrat? They're like, because of whatever. Or like, why are you a Republican? And they're like, well, because whatever. But like, once you start like asking younger people, they're like, we just start saying it. Because what do we have? We have nothing to lose, right? We have nothing to lose because we have nothing. So why would we play a game that, or why would we attempt to play a game that isn't in our hands? Of course we're going to play the most interesting hand we can, because we have literally been given the most interesting hand, which sort of gets me into the idea that we aren't cooked. I was going to actually make this video a while ago, but now is a perfect time, because now I might actually be able to explain myself. So if we were truly cooked, because everybody says that, everybody's like, oh, we're not going to be able to do it, and we can't, have righteousness, and we can't, do the things that we want to do. We can't have a house. We can't have food. We can't have nice cars. We can't have nice things. And to an extent of materialism, sure. But the fact, like I said, that we are so similar, hopefully that didn't pop, that we are so similar that why don't we just band together? Like, why don't we get in social circles where, once again, we might not agree to a T, but we can come together and recognize that, like, okay, we're actually living the most similar lives of all time. Because some guy in Indonesia in the 40s, right, had an entirely different life than an American in the 40s, right? They just did. Like, that was not, sure, they might have been poor, but, like, that was it. But now, like the whole thing with Nepal, right, where like Nepal had an uprising, and yeah, it's because they were all using social media, right? Isn't that so funny that you can be literally all the way around the globe, like on the complete other side of the globe, and somebody is sharing such a similar life to you? It's really something. This has never been seen before, realistically. Maybe besides the Tower of Babel. That might be the only other time. Or like the time right before Noah's flood. That might be the only time where we've been like this similar, which obviously is a scary thought, right? That, that we're on the cusp of things just like those things were back in the day that got obliterated. So, that's a little bit of a concerning thought, but I am optimistic that we will make the right choices because of who we are. Because clearly this molding stage is not an accident. It isn't. How could it be? It's too coincidental. It's too perfect for it to be like, everybody's getting their ass whooped either by work or at home with people who, are just evil, right? Or wherever, coworkers that are evil. You go somewhere and people are like trying to, get one over on you. Like, this is the molding stage of a people that are going to be great. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but like I said in a previous video, and I'll probably link that in here, that you know, wheat and tares are very similar to each other until they're full grown. Then you can tell the difference, right? So that's sort of what's happening, is that we are at that final stage of like, okay, we know who the false, people are, or the ones who don't care about anything, and yet here are the people that are building something more, that are really having a cognitive understanding and a grasp on things. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I hope that gives you some confidence in your daily life too, because you need it, right? And even if you're old, right? Even if you're old, you might be feeling these same things, and why don't you join the crew? Join the team. Part of the ship, part of the crew, right? From Pirates of the Caribbean. So that's really, that really should mean something to you, because it means something to me. So yeah.